Hello students, in this video we'll be looking at program 3 of part A of your C programming lab. So first let us look at the problem statement. The problem statement says that develop a program to compute the roots of a quadratic equation by accepting the coefficients and print the appropriate messages. So before finding a solution to this problem statement, I need to have a good understanding of what is a quadratic equation, what are the roots of a quadratic equation, and what are the coefficients of the quadratic equation. So I'll just in brief tell you all what is a quadratic equation. We'll look at one example and then we'll come back to the program. So any equation which is of the form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is a quadratic equation where a, b and c are known as the coefficients of the quadratic equation and the value of x is known as the roots of the quadratic equation or the solution of the equation. Now here it is very important to understand that a value cannot be 0. If a value becomes 0, then the whole term ax square will become 0, in which case it will become a linear equation. So this is the first care or first check that we have to do when we are solving the quadratic equation. Now here we are solving the quadratic equation by the formula method. We are using the formula x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So I'll have two roots for the quadratic equation. One is minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. And the second value of x will be minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now, before solving this, we always check for the value of d. D is nothing but the discriminant. We calculate what is b square minus 4ac. Once I calculate b square minus 4ac, that is the value of d, I get to know what kind of roots I am going to get. What is the nature of roots that I will be getting. If d value is greater than 0, then I say that the roots are real numbers. If d value is less than 0, then I say that the roots are imaginary. And if d value is equal to 0, then I say that the roots are equal. So let us take one example. So here they have given an equation x square plus 3x minus 4 equal to 0. Now if I want to solve this equation, first thing that I need to do is find out what is the value of a, b and c. Now in this case, a value is equal to 1, b value is equal to 3 and c value is equal to minus 4. So first you all have to calculate the value of A, B and C. Only then we'll be able to proceed with the further calculations. Now apply these values over here. Once you'll apply the values over here, you'll get the value 25. How is it 25? 9, 3 square is 9 minus A value is 1. So 4 into 1 is 4 into C value which is minus 4. So minus 4 into minus 4 will be 16. So 9 plus 16, the D value is 25. Now, if the D value is 25, that means this value is greater than 0. Now, if the value is greater than 0, then I will be getting real values. So, roots, whatever I'll be calculating, I'll be having real values for them. Now, apply these values in this formula. So, once you start applying, b value is 3 plus or minus square root of 3 square minus 4 into 1 into minus 4 divided by 2 into 1. Just these values are applied in this formula. If you all want, you all can do side by side calculation. Just pause this video, do the calculations, check whether you are getting the same results as they have shown here. So you all can pause the video over here if you all want. And then again come back once you all have calculated. So we'll get two values for this. So once I apply plus here, once I apply minus here. So here they have applied minus, here they have applied plus, and after applying I get two values. So x value is minus 4 and x value is 1. So these are the two solutions. The same thing, whatever we have applied here, we are going to apply to the same equation we'll be applying in the program, same formula, and we'll be getting the solution. So first, let us look at the algorithm of it. So what is an algorithm? An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure of how you are going to get the results. Again, there are various things that you have to take care to the algorithm, that every step that you are going to write should lead you to the solution. There should be finite number of steps. It should not have any language specific details in it. So all these things you have to take care. So let us look at the algorithm. Here it says that start, which is the first step in any algorithm. Then they say input the coefficients of the quadratic equation. That is nothing but read the value of a, b, c from the user. And then as I told you, a value should not be 0. So we are checking if the a value is 0. If it is 0, then we say that it is an invalid input and we stop. If not, we calculate the value of d, which is b square minus 4ac. Once I do that, I'm going to do 3 comparisons. If d is less than 0, then if it is less than 0, I say that the roots are complex and imaginary. Calculate the value of R1 and R2 and print R1 plus IR1 and R1 minus IR2. So this is when the D value is less than 0. Then if it is double equal to 0, that is D value is double equal to 0, then I say that the roots are equal. And if not, I say that the roots are real and distinct. And then I stop. So let us start looking at the program. So here the first statement obviously will be the preprocessor directive hash include stdio.h. Why is stdio.h required? Because I want the standard input output devices to work, or I want my printf and scanf to work. So for that I have to include the stdio.h. Then I have mat.h. Mat.h is required because we are using mathematical functions like square root, power in our program. I'll tell you all where all we are using it. So for all those to work, I require mat.h. Now next we have int main. Again int because this is the return type that we'll be sending, and main is the function without which the program will not work. So main is like the gate to your program. Without this, you will not be able to execute your program. Now here I am declaring the variables. So float is the data type that we have taken. I am taking 3 variables from the user, which is A, B and C. Using these 3 values, I'll be calculating D. D is also required, so I need another variable called as D. And then finally, whatever the roots we are calculating, we are storing it in R1 and R2. So I hope it is clear that why we require these many variables. ABC is the input, D, R1 and R2 is what we are calculating. In this, D is intermediate variable that we require to make decision, and R1 and R2 are the final output variables that we are going to have. Now, the next statement here says that enter the coefficients of A, B and C. That is, I want the user to enter the value of A, B and C. For that, I am using the scanf statement %f, 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 3%f, because I am accepting 3 variables. And I need to know what is the exact address of these 3 variables. That is why I have included %a, %b and %c. So this we have already seen in the previous labs we have done. I hope everybody is clear of why we need to write %a, %b and %c, because I need to know the address, and the only way to know the address is by putting an ampersand prefix in front of the variable name. And again %f is the format specifier because the type here is float. So once I accept all these values, I'm going to check if a value is double equal to 0. So if is again a conditional checking statement. Here a equal to 0 is the condition that I'm going to check. And here if you all observe, it is double equal to, not a single equal to. What is the difference between double equal to and single equal to? If I write a equal to 0, what will happen is 0 value will get assigned to a. But here I want to compare a value and 0 value. So that is why in if statement, whenever I am giving a condition, I should always give double equal to and not a single equal to. Again, if statement should not be followed by a semicolon. So there is no semicolon here. If you all check, the best thing would be I want you all to write the program in the observation book and then keep looking at it, how you have written it and how it is there on your screen, so that you will get to know what all mistakes you all can do when you all are writing a program. That would be the best solution to it. So I check whether a value is 0. If a value is 0, I say that it is an invalid input. Again, to print this, print the message, we are using a printf statement. printf statement within the double quotes, whatever you're going to write, the same thing will appear on the screen, and \n is used so that the message comes on the next line. And then finally we have return 0. So what happens when you have a return 0? When you have a return 0, the control will go back to the main program, or the mains control will return. So when I have return 0, the program will stop. That means if a value is equal to 0, then I am going to stop the program. I am not going to proceed ahead. Only if this condition is true, then these two instructions will get executed. That is how I know that these two instructions will get executed, because of these brackets. If you'll see that whatever is within these brackets will get calculated or executed only if this condition is true. Now, if this condition is not true, that means a value is not 0, then what we are going to do, we'll look in the next part. So if this condition is true, then these statements will get executed, else this statement will get executed. So now when I'm executing else, in else also we are not going to put a semicolon, as you all can see. Now the question is, where will this else end? This is the opening bracket for else. The closing bracket for else is over here. This is the closing bracket for else. So if the condition is not true, then everything that we have written after the else part will all come under the major else. So this is like an outer else, and all these are again within the else statements. So if you have understood the nested if and else statements, so in that I think you all must have seen how does it work. So this else, or opening of this else, is closing over here. This is the closing of your main program. So now if that is not true, then I'm going to calculate the value of d. D is equal to b square minus 4ac. That is what we have done here also. We have calculated the value of d first. So the same thing we are doing in the program. Now after calculating the value of d, I need to compare the value of d. First let me check whether d value is less than 0. So if d value is less than 0, then everything within this if will get executed. That means first compare the d value with 0. If it is less, then execute within this if statement. Again, no semicolon over here if you'll have observed. Then if it is true, then print that roots are complex numbers, and again print that the roots of the quadratic equation are imaginary. Again, what are imaginary numbers? The numbers which have a negative value under the square root are imaginary numbers. How do we depict it? We separate -1 into square root of the number, and square root of -1 will become I. That is how we'll be representing. Now we are dividing the program into two parts. Dividing the solution into two parts. The first part will be minus b divided by 2a, and the second part will be square root. So let me first tell you what we are doing here. So this is the formula. Now this formula can be divided as minus b divided by 2a and square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So this will become one part and this will become the other part. So that is what we are doing here. This will become R1 and this will become R2. So let us look at the program. So R1 is minus b divided by 2a. I told you that the first part. And R2 is square root of absolute value of d. What is d? D is nothing but b square minus 4ac. So if you look here, this value is d. Now I am calculating square root of absolute value of d. Now here I have a square root value and then absolute. Why this absolute is required? Because absolute will convert any negative value to a positive value. And why we are having int? Because we have declared d to be of the type float. And when we are calculating square root, it is best we work with integers. So d is first converted to integer. So this d, what we are talking about, will be converted to integer. This is nothing but typecasting what we are doing here. Once I typecast it, then I convert the number into a positive number with this formula. So this first bracket that we are going to close for d will be for absolute, and then take a square root of it. So this will give you completely this term, square root of b square minus 4ac. This will be given by this term, complete term, then divided by 2 star a. So this will be the denominator. Again, if you all want square root absolute functions to work, you all have to include the mat.h. So why have we included mat.h? Because we are using uh, mathematical functions like square root and absolute, and that is why I must include mat.h. I hope you are understanding now why mat.h is required. Now, after calculating R1 and R2, now I'll be printing it. I'm printing it as root 1 equal to percentage point 3f. That means only 3 place precision after the point f plus I. Why I we are printing? I because we have imaginary numbers. Whatever we have calculated here, here we have ignored the negative of the square root. So that nothing is I. That is square root of minus 1 what we are having is nothing but I over here. Again percentage 0.3f, 0.3f is again a format specifier. So I have two format specifiers here. This is the first format specifier and this is the second format specifier. Now first format specifier R1 will be the value, second format specifier R2 will be the value. So this is like saying minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Only an I will get added over here. Then the second value will be same R1 minus I R2. So I am printing both the values over here as root 1 and root 2. I hope everybody is understanding what is the meaning of this. So here, please do not get confused why this I is added over here. This I is like the imaginary number that we'll be adding to the system. Now, if d value is not less than 0 and if it is equal to 0, so the next condition that we'll be giving is else if. This is an if else if ladder that we are using. So I hope if else if ladder you all know, but still if you all don't know, then I'll be telling you how we do it. Usually we have if else statements, then we have a two-way selection. If something, then else something. But if I want to have multiple cases, then we use a if else if ladder. So here I want to check for three conditions, whether d is less than 0, d is equal to 0, and then the final where d is greater than 0. So to do so, I need to have two conditional checks. So if I just take if else statements, it is not possible. So that is why we are using an else if statement here. In else if, what do? We compare the value d equal to 0. Again here we have double equal to, not a single equal to, and again not followed by a semicolon. Here inside everywhere the printf we have put a semicolon, but not for if and else if. Please make a note of this, and there should be a space between else and if. So this is very important to understand that between else and if there should be a space. Now if d is double equal to 0, then I print that the roots are equal. How the roots will become equal? This part is 0. So square root of 0 is again 0. So I'll be left with only one only one value, that is minus b divided by 2a. So both the roots will be equal to minus b divided by 2a. That is what we are doing here. R1 will be equal to R2 equal to minus b divided by 2a. Understand that this R1 and R2 will get calculated only when d is less than 0. If this is not true, then these will be the value of R1 and R2, and then we print R1 and R2. Here they have printed just one root of the quadratic equation, that is R1, but R2 is also the same. You all can print another root, that is also fine. Now if this condition is not true, that is d is not less than 0, and if d is not equal to 0, that means the else part will get executed. This else is a default case. If you all have further conditions, then you all can keep on adding here else if. But we have only three conditions. If two conditions are not true, then the third condition is obviously true. That is why we directly write here else, and we do not write an else if. If I had another fourth condition, then I would write else if here and the last part would be else. Since I have only three conditions, this will be the default case. If this is not true, if this condition is not true, if this condition is also not true, then this condition will be true. One thing you'll have to understand is any one condition will get executed. All the three conditions will never be true. So in the else part, what do I have? I print that the roots of the quadratic equation are real numbers. Then I calculate two values, that is R1 and R2, minus B plus square root of int of D divided by 2A. This is the same value that we have calculated over here. But here we are not doing separately as we have done here. Here numerator is 1 and denominator is 1. Here what we had done is we had split the numerator into two halves. That we are not doing it. We are keeping the numerator as it is, again square root of int of D divided by 2A. Here I am not taking absolute because I am very sure that the D value is positive. Here the D value was negative, that's why I had to include the ABS. Now here I am very sure that D value is positive. So first will be with plus value, the second will be with minus value, and then finally we print it. So after doing this, return 0, the program will stop after return 0. This is the closing of main, this is the closing of else. The first closing is of else. Which else? Again this else which we had opened, and the second closing will be for the main function. So this main opening, we are closing it here. So I hope at least few points are being clear to you all. If you are having any doubts, please feel free to ask. So here how the output will be when you execute the program. You can execute it on any of your compilers that you all have. You all can use online compilers if possible and get the solution. So this is how the output will be. First it will tell you to enter any three coefficients a, b and c. This is the same statement that we have given here. So this will be the first message that will come up on your screen. Then you all can give three values like 1, 3 and minus 4. So a value is 1, b value is 3 and c value is minus 4. Again this is the same example that I have solved here. Since I had taken this example, output was already there. I've used the same example. You all can try with different values of A, B and C and check whether you're getting the same values. Here also I had got 1 and minus 4, and the output here also we are getting it as 1 and minus 4. Again, why we are getting a floating point value? Because we have taken it to be a floating point number. And if you all see here, everywhere we have given 0.3f. That means after point, decimal point, 3 place precision is required. So after a point, we are having 3 place values. So minus 4.000 and 1.000. If you all give 6, then you all will have 6 digits after the decimal point. So yeah, this is a simple example that we have taken, and I have tried my best to explain the program. I hope everybody has understood what it is, but any part which you all have not understood in the program, please feel free to ask. Thank you.